not submitted this, you can submit it. If you get all the answers down, go ahead and submit it. I'm not going to be posting the video until tomorrow morning because I said that you have until today to submit it without it being late. But if you're here and you're putting out the effort and you're taking notes on all the answers, great. I think that it's fine to go through these real quick. All right.
Mr. Solzak,
Yeah.
do we have to do the examples?
No, don't worry about it. Skip over them.
Alright.
I did them in a previous video. If you want to like check out that video, I'm not sure which date it is. It's either the May 11th video or the May 12th video. But yeah, it's that link there. Okay, so I'm just going through starting on the second page right here, and I made this really, really big so that it's easier to see. But starting on this page that looks like this, I'm just going to zoom in on number 1 here. Sodium sulfate, I've got the 2 ions here. And I'm going to be using the crisscross method because I think that it's a little bit easier. So if we want to use the crisscross method, we take our charges. In sodium's case, we have a +1 charge right here. In sulfate's case, we have a -2 charge right here. I just got those off of the cheat sheet that was linked with the assignment. But we take the 1 from sodium, we take the 2 from sulfate, and we crisscross them down. So the 2 comes down to the left side and attaches itself to sodium. And the 1 attaches itself to sulfur. But since it's 1, we don't have to write 1. Not sulfur, sulfate, sorry. And our final formula would be Na2SO4. 2 attached to the sodium here. There is an invisible 1 attached to SO4 right here. And with that, let me tab over to number 2. Very similar. We have lithium +1. We have phosphate -3. Crisscross it. The 3 comes down to the left-hand side and attaches to lithium. Stop that. So we get lithium 3, and you know what? I'm just going to make this a little bigger. There, that'll work. And the 1 slides down to the right-hand side and attaches to phosphate. But we've got like an issue with these 2 numbers. So just to be safe, or just to show the reader what that 3 applies to, you got to put parentheses around this polyatomic ion. This PO4 always is going to stay PO4. You got to make sure that you show that it's always its own unit. And in fact, it's a unit that we have 3 of in this molecule. So going over to number 3 over here, we have magnesium acetate. Acetate's got kind of a weird formula. You'll also sometimes see this written as C2H3O2, but this is how it's written in our cheat sheet, so that's how I wrote it here. Again, we crisscross. This time the 2. Oh, wait, no, I messed this up. What am I doing? We crisscross the 1 here. This 3 shouldn't be here. It should be a 1, which you don't have to write, but I'm doing it anyway because I made a mistake. Oh, my gosh. Sorry, y'all. It's been a long week for me. All right. Back to number 3. We're crisscrossing again. This time we have a 2 over here, and this is the first time that we're going to be crisscrossing it onto our polyatomic ion, our ion with more than 1 atom. The polyatomic ion has a charge of -1, so you don't have to write that. It's just a 1. But we do have to say that CH3COO, it's the 2 from magnesium. And now it's important that everything is in parentheses here. And we're left with CH3COO, all in parentheses, 2. That's telling the reader that there's 2 of this whole ion connected to 1 ion of magnesium. Number 4, sodium cyanide. Super, super easy because we've got a charge of 1. We have another charge of 1. If you crisscross 1 and 1, you don't have to write 1. So you just say Na, there's an invisible 1 there. and then Cn, there's an invisible 1 there. You're done. Super, super quick. Number 5 looks a lot like numbers 1 and 2, where we have a charge of 1 on our potassium. We have a charge of -2 on our polyatomic ion, this CrO4. The 2 is going to come down to the left and attach to the potassium. This 1 is going to attach to our chromate ion and disappear because it's a 1. So we get K2CrO4. Similarly, number 6 is exactly the same. It's just got different letters involved. We have a +1 charge. We have a -2 charge. Stop me if you've heard this one before, but we are crisscrossing Ce with a 2, and the 1 from cesium crisscrosses and attaches to CO3. So,
Mr. J,
yeah.
I got a question.
I have
How
an
you do
answer.
like the small numbers and stuff?
Oh, I do. So for me, the shortcut is to do Control comma on my keyboard. That's just something I know off the top of my head. I've seen a lot of people, and this is actually a fair point. I've seen a lot of people, they're like, I don't know how to do the small numbers. So they've been leaving their answers like this. That's cool. I know what you mean. If you go up here and you got this one, if you do like a big 2 right there and like a big 3 right here, I know what you mean. It's fine. I know that if you were in class and we were writing this down on paper, you put it in the right spot. But that's just a keyboard shortcut that I know.
Can you go back to 6 real quick, Mr. Soldier?
Number 6? Absolutely. Yeah, and I'm going to correct it so that it's a little more legible. We end up with 2 from cesium, or 2 cesiums. The 2 comes from our carbonate ion, and 1 carbonate coming from the +1 on the cesium. And if you're writing this down, you can copy it down once we're done. Probably a smart move. All right. Number 7, +3, -1, crisscross. The 1, the -1 comes down and attaches to iron. It goes away because it's a 1, or it's invisible because it's a 1. The 3 from iron is going to attach to the nitrate ion. And remember, since this is a nitrate ion, NO3, this thing all has to stay together. It's always going to be NO3. So the formula is actually going to be FeNO3, 3. 2 3s right in a row. I see people forgetting the 3s a lot. I am going to let you know right now, this number 7, this is one of the questions I'm going to give you on Friday. I'm going to say iron 3 nitrate, give me the formula. One of the wrong answers will be this whole thing, but with the 3 missing. Don't put that. Make sure you have both 3s there. And as a reminder, this 3+, if you look at our cheat sheet, iron can be +2 or +3. It's in row 4, column 3 right here under transition elements. You know, it's 3+ because it's iron 3 nitrate. Same thing right here, copper 2 permanganate. Copper 2, so we have copper 2+. Manganate, or permanganate, has a charge of -1. So we crisscross again. Copper gets the 1 from permanganate. I am not going to write it because I am lazy, because I'm a chemist. Permanganate is MO4, but we need 2 of them because copper says so. So we put it all in parentheses. We slap a 2 on it. All right. Gold 2 nitrate. Again, looks exactly the same as number 8. We have a charge of +2, charge of +2. We have a charge of -1. We have a charge of -1. I could go through the crisscross method. Actually, I will. But what you could do is you could just copy and paste your answer from here. Instead of putting CU, you could put AU. Instead of putting MnO4, you could put NO2. But if you crisscross right here, you're going to get gold 1 and nitrate. Maddie, move your tail. Go ahead. And we need 2 nitrates because of the +2 charge on gold. So NO2, 2. Again, you need both of these 2s because this 2 is saying that we have 2 oxygen atoms in this ion. This 2 is saying we have 2 nitrite ions. And then last column right here, or last row right here, to start off, we've got rubidium dichromate. Rubidium is nice because it only has 1 charge. We crisscross. This 2 from dichromate flies down and attaches to the 2 of rubidium. Dichromate. This one has so many subscripts. Luckily, we only need 1 dichromate ion because the charge of rubidium is only +1. So we have 2 rubidium ions and 1 dichromate ion. I am going to mention really quickly for number 10 because we're starting to get into like these really annoying looking ions. One thing that I tell people when they're first starting with this, when we're writing this out, if people are having trouble being consistent, it is totally okay every time you see a polyatomic ion, anything that is on the second page right here, to just put it in parentheses. That's a message to yourself that says, okay, this CR207 is always going to be CR207. I'm going to stick it in parentheses no matter what, and I know I'm not allowed to touch it. You don't need that in every case. You don't need it if there's only one of them, but some people like to do that. Your call. Beryllium nitrate looks exactly the same as copper 2 permanganate, looks exactly the same as gold 2 nitrate. We have a monatomic ion with a charge of +2, a polyatomic ion with a charge of -1. We crisscross. The +2 is going to attach to the nitrite. The -1 is going to attach to the beryllium. So it's going to be beryllium 1. 1 is invisible. And we need 2 nitrates to go along with that 1 beryllium ion. And then finally, really, really quickly, magnesium chlorate, exactly the same as number 8, exactly the same as number 9, exactly the same as number 11. We have a +2 ion, we have a -1 ion. That means we need 2 of this guy, we need 1 of this guy to cancel out. So we just write that down. We have 1 magnesium, we have 2 chlorates. And I know I rushed through that all super, super quickly. If you have not turned in this assignment yet, though, here are all of the answers. I'm going to correct this little bit right here, just so they're easier to read. I'm going to scroll through these very slowly. So we have numbers 1, 2, and 3 right here. And I don't want to tell you how to live your life, but if you're taking screenshots, I can't stop you. We have 1, 2, and 3. We have 4, 5, and 6. We have 7, 8, and 9. These answers. And we have 10, 11, and 12. I'm going to keep these up, and I'm just going to repeat some of my announcements from earlier because we had a couple of people wander
Can you
in.
go back up and like
Oh,
do it one more
absolutely,
time?
absolutely. Which ones do you need?
Just can you just go through it one more time?
Yeah. So we got 1, 2, 3. I'm stalling. We've got 4, 5, and 6. Cool. We got 7, 8, and 9. And we got 10, 11, and 12. I'm going to keep those last 6 answers all up there at the same time. I'm going to stop recording right now.